Hi, I'm Dan Costa, Editor-In-Chief of PC Mag, and I'm here with Sascha Segan, and we just got back from the Apple event out in San Francisco. We've gone to a lot of Apple events. I think you still have more than I do.
Well, I've been to every iPhone launch event except for the very first one that was happening during CES because nobody knew what was going on and it was during CES. But every other iPhone launch I have been in the room to see. And yeah, they are a unique experience. They're so different than other launch events.
And there's certain things that we've gotten used to that are just, they always happen. There's certain things that happen in certain sequence. They're very, very well scripted. There's obviously a great presentation style that's become known as like the Apple style, but it starts first thing in the morning, or actually it starts with the invites that go out.
Yeah, I mean, what happens is that, so it's usually, and this went a little off script this year, but usually 8 days before the event, the journalist invites get sent out. And there's typically something on the order of 750, 1,000 people invited to each event. You get it 8 days before the event so that you can book your flight in the 7-day airfare window. And if you don't get an invite, well then people have issues.
Yeah, people have issues. People want to get these invites, but then you get into the room. We both got there. We show up ridiculously early every single time.
Well, it's not even about showing up early. First, you show up the day before to get what is called a scene setter. And what you're doing then, especially with something like WWDC, is you're walking around the perimeter of the building, trying to peek into the windows and see if there are any banners set up inside that might reveal what is being announced. So once you've been convinced...
This is journalism.
This is journalism, exactly. So once you've taken a bunch of photos of the big apples on the outside of the building and you've tried to, break in through various windows and doors to see if there's a banner for, the new iPhone 6s or whatever, then your job is done for the evening and you can go have dinner because you have to come back at something like 6 or 7 o'clock the next morning for a 10 a.m. event.
All right. That's right. You get up there. We get there about 7 o'clock. The doors will not open. The event will start right at 10 o'clock. But we're there 3 hours early, standing sometimes in the dark, waiting for the sun to come up, and just jockeying for position so that we can get a seat that's close enough. That's a good seat. A seat with power. A seat that's centered, so you can be able to take good photos, and a seat that where you can actually do your live blog from the event.
Yeah, I mean, people are generally let into the building itself about an hour and a half before the event. There's some food in there. There's some refreshments. This year's refreshments were actually really good. It was like definitely a notch above some of the Yerba Buena refreshments I've seen before. But as soon as everybody grabs, an apple or a Pop-Tart, they all crowd in front of the door that's going to open to the hall, jockeying for position. The door opens a little while before the event, and you see these people stampede. Yeah, and these people stampede. There's running. There's practically trampling going on.
And when Sascha says these people, he means us.
Yeah.
Like we are actually in this stampede, and I did not step on anyone, but there was some pushing and shoving.
Yeah, and now the partners and Apple employees are going through another door in what I presume is a much more orderly and calm and convivial fashion, because they're not all trying to get that one seat which is going to give you a good zoom photograph of Tim Cook's face.
Which I continually have trouble doing that, getting that seat and getting that photograph.
Yeah.
But so then we go in, you literally have 10 minutes to plug in your equipment, to see if you can get on Wi-Fi, to check your backup network connections, because you got to be live in order to blog. And then the event starts, and every journalist there is face down on their keyboards.
Yep.
The entire time.
About 5 minutes after the event starts, the hall Wi-Fi goes down. This is not uniquely an Apple problem. Pretty much you can say about any press conference, about 5 minutes after the event starts, the hall Wi-Fi goes down because whatever routers the hall is set up have run out of IP addresses. So anyone who is anyone carries at least 2 carriers worth of hotspots and modems with them. We all start hooking up to our LTE. That's gotten a lot better in recent years. And we're live blogging through the event that you're watching on the live stream. Now, as you're watching the live stream, you're hearing a lot of applause in the background, right? That's not us. One thing that Apple has did this year that they did previously at WWDC is this year they stack the audience with Apple employees. And all that crazy energy and hooting and hollering and positivity, that's because there's so many Apple employees in the room. The journalists are all sitting there trying to pound out every word that Tim Cook says.
Yeah, and the presentations. This one went 2 hours, a little bit 2 hours plus.
2 hours plus.
Lots of different speakers coming up. I mean, you can see the live stream of what's happening. Then you inevitably get the musical guest, which is how I've come to look forward to it. This didn't used to be the case in the days of Steve Jobs, but now there's almost always a musical act that ends the show.
Yeah, because Apple is now a music company. Apple spent $3 billion buying Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre so that it could be a music company. So it could be the Apple records that the Beatles once legally enjoined them from being 30 years ago. So there's a musical guest. There's been one for the past couple of events. And this year, though, a shocking thing happened, which was the musical guest comes on, and the musical guest is so disliked by the audience that people started walking out almost immediately. Like literally 10 seconds after the band takes the stage, people are getting up.
I thought it was really rude. And I thought it was really rude, and I don't know that they didn't like the band. It was that they wanted to get to that next stage of the event where you get the hands-on time. And the hands-on room is inevitably too crowded. There's always a gating factor. It's very hard to get into. I think people were running to get to that.
Yes and no. People did not get up after Elvis Costello. I mean, during Elvis Costello. People did not get up during U2. Okay. People got up during this, whatever this clothing brand is that these boys are singing who aren't One Direction, whoever this non-One Direction band is.
Yeah, it was. You wanted to bolt. Our whole aisle emptied out, and I had waited. I was the last person in the aisle, and then finally I was like, "This is embarrassing. I've got to go." So then I went too, but it was bad.
Yeah. So finally, One Not Direction gets off stage, and Tim Cook takes a selfie with them because they're his favorite band, because he's apparently the only person that they are the favorite band of, and then
really the most important one.
Exactly, and then we go into the hands-on area. And now, one thing what I think is the most interesting misdirection in the hands-on area is Tim Cook will be in the hands-on area. Do not try to join the Tim Cook mob. It is a distraction, and it's not what you're looking for.
No, go for the product.
Exactly.
So then we go and we have the hands-on area. Sometimes, I mean, this event, they launched 4 different products. We shoot the hands-on. Mm-hmm. You learn about the products, which you've already learned about a little bit.
Yeah, one thing that always strikes me in those rooms is that Apple has all of these demo people set up demoing the products, and they are the best informed demo people. I go to a lot of these product demos, and the people at the Apple events are really, really well trained. They have the technical answers.
And this is, I mean, you think about it, these products have been announced 60 minutes earlier, and these experts, obviously they've been working under NDA, they're familiar with the products, but they really are. They can answer almost any question you throw at them.
Yeah, so we are basically trying to spend as much time as we physically can with each of these products before the 6 other people behind us who each want to spend as much time as they can with the product jostle us off the product.
Yeah. You literally have to wait in line, get your hands on some product, try and make sure you box out enough space so that you can actually shoot a video in this like poorly lit environment, and then go back to the office and actually write the hands-ons.
Yeah, so when you're wondering as a reader, why didn't you ask this question? Why didn't you get this obscure spec? Why am I stuttering during the hands-on video? It's because of the speed that this stuff is going on. The fact that with the iPad Pro, we basically have, 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes. We just heard about what the iPad Pro was an hour previously. We have 10 minutes to touch the iPad Pro, shoot photos, shoot video, do everything we want to with it, and ask all the questions we can before we get shuffled on to the next thing.
Yeah, I got to spend a little bit more time with the Apple TV because they had 2 demo stations. You actually got to play with it a little bit more. But yeah, it's very, very fast.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same every time Apple holds an event. Now, I think this will probably be the last event they hold this year. I don't think there's anything left for them to announce.
Well, there are other things for them to announce, but they may not have an event. Apple needs to refresh the Mac line, and they're going to do the formal release of OS X El Capitan on September 30th. But the fact that we know that El Capitan is coming on September 30th and there has been no event announcement tells me that this is probably going to be through a press release and not through an actual in-person event.
So that's pretty much what happens behind the scenes at the Apple event. If you have questions, you can leave them in the comment section. We can answer them there. And if you want to see what we actually came up with in this one crazy day, in terms of the videos, they're on YouTube. The stories are on PCMag.com. As always, thanks for joining us.